Welcome back, Sixers. This is race 5 and the final race of round 1, and it's going to hit a bit different. This is the second points race of round 1, and it's 2 laps of Richmond's 2015 World Course. Wait, hold on. One second. That's better. That HUD was bothering me. That's right. Welcome to No HUD Racing. In this recon, we'll look at the course layout, discuss team tactics, and how to find and attack your segments. Wildcard strategy, talk wheel choices and workouts. By the end, you'll know when to sit in, when to attack, and when to go all out so that you and your team walk away from round 1 as champions. So clip in, Sixers. This is your race 5 recon. Course overview. This is our second points race of round 1, and we're in Richmond for 2 laps of the brutal UCI 2015 Worlds Course. It's 33 kilometers with 316 meters of elevation. Sprinters, your segments are Monument Avenue and Broad Street. And for the climbers, you get Libby Hill and 23rd Street. And the wildcard challenge is on Broad Street. Top 10 first over the line on the first lap. Buckle up, sprinters. Let's run through this course from top to bottom. From the pens, it's a left turn onto the course, and great news, the first half of this course is flat until it's not. Remember, there are no power-ups in the Super 6 series, so this is going to come down to raw power and determination. Turning left at the 1.4k mark, and the wide streets should feel luxurious after last week's Innsbruck ring race. A right turn at the 1.7k mark, and we are met with a very false flat which drags us up until just before the Monument roundabout at the 2.7k mark. The cobbles are cold comfort here as the sprinters begin to prepare for the sprint point segment, the Monument Avenue Sprint. Riders will hit the hairpin at the 3.8k mark, and sprinters will begin lining up for the sprint. The sprint beacon is almost exactly 100 meters after the hairpin at the 3.9k mark. The sprint itself is short at just 220 meters with a very slight downhill effect. At the 4.9k mark, the road bends right with a slight drag around the corner. The road stays flat as riders take the left-hand bend at the 5.5k mark and can look forward to some minor undulation along here. The road will tilt down slightly more at the 6.4k mark and into the corner. Another right-hand turn at the 7k mark, and both sprinters and those riders holding the wildcard role will be eyeing up the Broad Street Sprint, just 400 meters further up the road. Hitting the sprint beacon at the 7.4k mark, the Broad Street Sprint is slightly longer at 280 meters. Riders will pass the arch at the 7.7k mark. This is where the steady flat section of the course finishes, and it's into the punchy climbs and long drawn out drags. Riders will reach their first descent at the 8.3k mark, which will flatten out at the 9.5k mark just after the quick right-hander. The road flattens out again for a short while as riders turn left. Riders will be thankful for this fast, flat section as the cobble climbs and the next point segment aren't too far ahead. Hitting the hairpin at the 11.7k mark, the road kicks up slightly as climbers prepare for Libby Hill, which starts at 12.2. Libby Hill is a 640 meter gut punch, averaging 6%. When the road turns from tarmac to cobble, there is 300 meters left until the banner. Passing the banner at the 12.9k mark, riders take 2 lefts and a little bump at the 13.1k mark before receiving a welcome descent at 13.3. However, this is short-lived because after a couple of turns, riders will come up against the 23rd Street climb. The second KOM segment is mercifully short at 280 meters, but it does possess a 9% average gradient. Road changes from tarmac to cobble at precisely the halfway mark up this climb. Passing the KOM banner at the 14k mark, the road instantly tilts down to give you some quiet comfort as the route turns left. The descent picks up at the 14.2k mark and increases all the way to the 15.1. where the route decides you've had enough recovery and dishes up some more inclined pain at 15.1 k's. Governor Street is not a segment, but it will hurt, but not as much as the second time you'll do it. This draggy climb will continue until the 15.9k mark, but not before the road angles right at 15.6. As you reach the next left-hander, the road will flatten slightly, but still cause you to suffer until you cross the start-finish banner at 16.5 Ks. And that's lap 1 done. For a complete list of the distance markers and lead-in tips, look for the link to the course notes in the description of this video. It lays out the segments, what to look for, lead-in suggestions, as well as screenshots of each segment. I've almost reached 1,000 subscribers, which is a fantastic milestone, but I'm not quite there yet. If you find that you're getting value or entertainment from this video or my others, maybe consider clicking the subscribe button. Or if you've done that already, look for YouTube's new hype button. It helps promote this video to reach more Zwifters, and if there's one thing Zwifters like you are known for, it's helping and supporting others and our community. Thanks. Segment tactics. Monument Avenue Sprint. While this sprint segment is short at 220 meters, don't let that fool you because the group will be coming into this hot. Fastest through segment is the name of the game, and sprinters should be positioning themselves at the back of the pack leading into that hairpin. Coming out of the hairpin, you'll have 100 meters to wind up before reaching the beacon. From there, it's all in for 10 to 15 seconds. On the second lap, some points are still up for grabs if you have the legs. Give this another red hot go to claim additional FTS points for your team. The Broad Street Sprint. At 280 meters in distance, this segment is trickier, especially on the first lap, as this is also the wildcard segment as well as being the second sprint segment. Assuming that many teams will nominate a sprinter as their wildcard rider, sprinters will have to judge this one carefully. You are literally going to have to thread the needle. If you have the wildcard responsibility, you'll have to go a bit sooner than you normally would. And you are going to have to dig deeper because there will be a number of other riders all looking to come over the top in an effort to shut you out. My suggestion is to start moving forward through the pack after that right-hand turn preceding the sprint. Don't hang back too far on this one. I would suggest being about fifth wheel as you cross that beacon and then drop the watt bombs like there's no tomorrow. On the second lap, like the Monument Sprint, there will still be points on the table for those sprinters that still have something in the tank. Position yourself further back this time, assuming you are in a group of like-minded riders, and begin winding up as the beacon comes into view. The Libby Hill KOM. This is the biggest KOM on the course at 640 meters, and the gradient is not kind at 6%. Climbers, it's your turn to feel the heat. Look for that left-hand hairpin as your trigger to drift to the back of the pack. Stay there as you pass the KOM beacon. Stand up and smash the pedals as hard as you can until you reach the cobbles, which are just over half of the way up. If you need to, sit down, but do it after that, but keep the power high for the last 300 meters. However, if you can stay standing, this segment could be yours. Much like the segments in this race, the second lap offers the chance to pick up some extra points. Be warned, the second attempt is going to hurt because you are going to need to stand up and dance on those pedals from start to finish. 23rd Street KOM. Climbers, your job isn't over yet. With this KOM being only 280 meters, you could be forgiven for thinking that this is going to be easy. This is a 9% soul crusher, so expect to punch your way out of this one. Interestingly, like Libby Hill, the road turns from tarmac to cobble at exactly 140 meters. Unlike Libby Hill, I'm not going to recommend sitting down in this one. Instead, savvy climbers will still position themselves at the back before rounding that first right-hand corner at the 13.6K mark, but begin stomping the pedals as you approach the second right-hand corner. This is where you will generate your speed to take into the climb. Those that nail this will find themselves halfway up the KOM before even realizing it, leaving the other climbers chewing dust. And the same is true for the second lap. However, I would start by dropping those watt bombs even earlier, possibly before the first right-hand corner, assuming your legs aren't jelly. Overall team strategy. Keep the team together as best as possible through the first and second sprints. As your sprinters attack each segment, your GC should work with your climbers to bridge the gaps. Trying to force a breakaway anywhere in the first half of the first lap might be considered foolish, as there is a fair to good chance you are going to drop your climbers. Communicate with your sprinters to come off the gas as they finish each segment and regroup. Work together to get your team to the Libby Hill KOM. The KOM segments are short enough that I think that most GCs and many sprinters will be able to stay with the group. GCs, communicate with your climbers and vice versa. The three of you will become the nucleus of your team after the 23rd Street KOM and the final drag up Governor Street. On to the second lap, and this is going to be a war of attrition. GCs should expect to do the majority of the heavy lifting for the remainder of the race, for those sweet finishing points. Climbers will need to dig deep to support your GC on the descents as well. Climbers, your job is to deliver them over the second 23rd Street segment in one piece and let them fight their way to the finish. Wildcard strategy. This week's wildcard challenge: be in the top 10 first over the line through the Broad Street sprint on lap 1. Logically, this is a role for your sprinters, but choose carefully. As I mentioned a bit earlier, this sprinter will need to be a timing magician in order to not only secure the best fastest through segment time, but also cross the line in the top 10. Not an easy task for the best of us. Hitting that right-hand corner before this segment, you have 400 meters to begin moving up through the pack. Expect lots of other non-sprinters and non-wildcard holders to be doing the same in an effort to shut you out. So I expect the group to be solid, but that also means that there will be lots of draft for the master sprinters amongst you. I would think that if you can cross the beacon at full power around fifth wheel, you should be in with a fighting chance of both a great FTS result as well as a top 10 FAL. Remember, Zwift rewards a long sprint, meaning it's harder for those behind you to come over the top. Whew, that's a lot to take in. Take a break and head over to the Flame Rouge Racing Discord channel. It's the #1 place to get race updates, ask questions, look for teams, and watch or share race video or YouTube live streams. Okay, back to work. Wheel choices. All riders are on the same frame, but wheel choice still counts. So yes, it's definitely worth the deliberation. Sprinters, in my opinion, you want to go as aero as you can. The sprint segments in the first lap are going to be fast, so you don't want to miss out. Sure, you might pick up some FTS on the second time around, but the first lap efforts should be your focus. Anything disc or deep dish is going to work. I would go with the DTS Swiss 85 disc, or the Zip 858 Super 9s, or the DT Swiss disc. Climbers and GCs. The climbs aren't long enough for lightweight wheel setups. Instead, I'd be looking for the mid-range gold to help you stay with the pack until it's time to drop them like a sack of kittens over a bridge. My money would be on the NV 4.5 Pros. They are the combination of fastest and lightest wheels available to you. Or you could go with the Zip 454s, or even the Zip 353 NSWs. Okay, workout suggestions. If you want to dominate and walk away from race 5 with your head held high, I'd look at these workouts. Sprinters, check out the Elia Viviani Sprinter. Duration, 45 minutes. Focus, max power, sprint repeatability. Why it works? This session replicates Zwift sprint finishes and FTS chases perfectly. Short, explosive, repeatable efforts that train neuromuscular power and recovery between sprints. Climbers, look at 130% of FTP hangers. Duration, 57 minutes. Focused, repeated VO2 max bursts, simulating short climbs and surges. Why it's ideal? Perfect for short 1 and 2 minute comms where you're repeatedly surging over threshold but can't fully recover. GCs, have a look at over under. Duration, 75 minutes. Focus, sustained threshold pacing, 95 to 100% FTP. Why this one? This session mimics the steady grind of a 30 to 35 kilometer Zwift race where you're constantly near threshold. Perfect for race simulations or preparing for long solo efforts. So there you have it. The first non-HUD race of the Super 6 racing series. 2 leg-destroying laps, 4 sprint segments, 4 punchy comms, and enough pain to satisfy you for the next 2 weeks until the start of round 2. Work together as a team and remember, the pain stops as soon as you do. Good luck out there. May your fan be on full, your water bowl be cold, and your companion app connected. Hit the like and the subscribe button, and if you watch this to the end, drop me a thumbs up in the comments and let me know what you think of no HUD racing.